Reaction, Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Senator, I saw your comments about Mitch McConnell, rightly. I think you're very angry with him. Rand Paul, did you hear the same thing he heard, that he didn't want people like me getting the information about the bill? Did you hear that?
I did, and this whole thing has been a disaster from the very beginning. It's been a disaster on policy, and it's been a disaster on politics. On policy, this bill is terrible. It is an absolute, it is a bill that Chuck Schumer wanted that is designed not to secure the border, not just not to secure the border. It's designed to make it worse. So this bill, as you noted, it codifies Joe Biden's open borders. Catch and release, the cause of this crisis, it codifies catch and release. It puts it into the law. Not only that, it normalizes 5,000 illegal immigrants a day. That works out to 1.8 million a year. That works out to about 6 million illegal immigrants over the 3 years of Biden. We have, in fact, seen 9.6 million illegal immigrants. So the idiotic Republican proposal was, let's be for 2/3 of the border invasion that Biden has allowed. That made no sense. Not only did it put it into law, 1.8 million every year in perpetuity, but it also put into law giving those illegal immigrants work permits, giving them lawyers paid for by the taxpayers. It gave billions of dollars to sanctuary cities to keep their policies going, and it gave billions of dollars to left-wing nonprofit organizations that are bringing the illegal immigrants in. So it funds the process. And I'll tell you the provision that, just as a Texan, that pissed me off the most. It went directly after the state of Texas, and it said any litigation filed challenging this law has to be filed in Washington, D.C. in federal district court. So Texas can't sue in the federal courts in Texas, where Texas has been winning. Instead, they got to go to Washington with the very liberal judges. This was a disaster on policy grounds because it did not solve the problem. But politically, it was even worse. Who won in this battle? And his name is Charles Schumer. Chuck Schumer did this. He knew it would fail. He wanted it to fail. But the purpose of this bill was to let every Democrat running for the Senate and running for the House to stand up and say, self-righteously, I wanted to secure the border. I really wanted to, but those mean Republicans wouldn't let me. And I got to say, Senate Republican leadership, I told them this months ago. Other conservatives told them this months ago, and they proceeded down this path that ended up, it was a box canyon with a kamikaze pilot crashing into a wall. It was a disaster, and it was entirely avoidable because what happened is Republican leadership ended up benefiting Chuck Schumer and the Democrats and doing nothing to secure the border.
The amazing part about all of this, Senator, is there is no need for Biden to get legislation from anybody. He threw just the stroke of the pen, as I've been pointing out, put back in place the policies that were successful. Here's one interesting thing I noted in your home state of Texas. 99.99% of illegal immigration in Eagle Pass, where you put up the razor wire, it has ended. It shows that barriers work. And now they've moved to California and Arizona. And if Texas can build out more razor wire, I say they should continue doing what they're doing because it worked.
Texas is going to continue leading the fight, and we've got to. This crisis, it is massive. It is devastating, and we've got to lead the fight. And you know what Joe Biden is doing? Joe Biden is siding with the Mexican drug cartels against the American people. I got to say, the image of just a few days ago of those 6 illegal aliens who beat up 2 New York police officers, it was disgusting, and they got arrested. And, of course, what happens? They get released from jail with no bail. And what do? Walking out, they flip the bird on both hands, walking out. That image, Sean, is the image of this campaign in 2024. That image, flipping the bird, is what Joe Biden and the Democrats in the Senate are saying to every American. They stand with the drug cartels, the human traffickers, the illegal immigrants, the criminals, and they stand against law enforcement, and they stand against American families. That's the message of this radical policy, and we got to stand up and fight against it.
272 days is an election, Senator. Your election is important, too. And I know you're being targeted, but you were the first person I called when the bill came out. I said, Senator, am I reading this correctly? And you said, yes, you're reading it correctly. But it's sad. The fact that they didn't want the people to know the details, that speaks volumes about the current leadership. Good for people like you in the Senate that hold them accountable. Ted Cruz, thank you, sir.
Republican leadership wanted to hide it from you and from the American people, and I appreciate your pointing out.
Unreal.
Chuck Schumer and George Soros are coming after me hard, so I want to encourage folks, go to tedcruz.org. I need your help. We're going to fight to defend Texas and defend this country.